So I try to do as much real stuff, as much practical stuff as I could on the set, and it also helped blend the visual effects and the reality together in a way that
Going back to neutral?
I'm hoping to build an experience where you can just get lost in it.
You think you're going to travel halfway around the world and meet up with some lunatic who's messing around on a ham radio?
It's not some lunatic. It's my grandfather.
Because at the end of the day, the guys that inspire me, the Steven Spielbergs, the George Lucases, the J.J. Abrams, they're great storytellers. And I'm aspiring to be a great storyteller.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a director?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask my mom, she'd say, like, I was 6 years old talking about being a director. It's funny, you know, you go back and talk to your friends from, like, junior high, and they say, you know, we used to play in the woods. You used to tell us where to go, where the bad guys were, or something like that. I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, you directed us as a kid. And I always drew, and I always painted. And, you know, I was very visual. I knew I was going to do something in the visual arts because it was the thing that I was best at.
Once you did realize that you wanted to be a director, did you go through any formal education or training to help you with your job?
I'm definitely the type of person who learns more from doing. You know, I need to go out and try it and figure it out myself. That's when you guys run in to help them out. And so I did that a lot when I was younger.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you
The Mysterious Island.
That said, I did end up going to Norman Jewison's film school in Toronto. And in this school, all you do is write, direct, edit, and showcase your work. And so that was the perfect type of school for me because I mean, I had so many ideas stored up. You know, I didn't need someone to say, oh, read this textbook. I'd already read it. You know, if it was printed, I was reading it. If there was a new movie, I was seeing it.
This is amazing.
Well, don't just stand there. Grandpa!
Who's up for an adventure?
For me, it was just devouring what I loved. And when it's passion, it's not work. And so I needed to just make stuff. And I'm still like that, you know, I'll get up and I'll write a song. I'll get up and I'll draw a picture. It's what I want to do. So film school might not be right for everybody. For people who are much more based in wanting to know the technical side, I could see it. But for a guy like me, it was just, how can I get my hands on a camera as quick as possible?
What is this place?
Atlantis.
Mountain of Gold. I can't believe it.
It seems like you were pretty much made for this career. Would you say that your job is easy, or do you think you still work hard?
I work really hard. I don't think this job is easy. I think I try to make it as easy as possible for everybody. At the end of the day, I really want people to enjoy themselves. I want them to be inspired. I want to collaborate with them.
And go!
Luckily, I think my temperament's one that respects people and wants to get the best of the people genuinely. And that makes it more fun. But I'm also very detail-oriented, very, very focused.
Let me warn you, this island is full of dark jungles and terrifying creatures. That's emasculating.
I also really, really care, and I want it to be my signature. And that takes a lot of hard work.
A director is the driving artistic source for a motion picture. It is the director's responsibility to communicate to the cast and crew members all aspects of the filmmaking process. Todd Graff attended Purchase College in New York and began his career as an actor. In 1992, Mr. Graff began writing screenplays before directing the feature films Camp and Bandslam.
Hi, I'm Todd Graff, the writer-director of Joyful Noise, and you're watching Made in Hollywood now. Here's a scene.
Are you kidding me? Make some noise up in this!
Y'all remember my grandson Randy? He's a good singer, Mama.
You just want to be near my little girl.
Help me sing my song.
The characters at the center of this story have to learn to persevere through their music, their faith, and their love. I'm curious for you as an actor, director, and writer in this industry, when you're faced with a challenge, where do you draw your inspiration and your motivation from?
I think that there's nothing else I can do. I'm not good at anything else. I'm not interested in anything else. If I don't do this, nothing. I'm lying in bed. So it's one of those things where when my back is to the wall, I have to go forward. There's no real choice for me. I look to my family, my friends, my community, other artists. I'll go to a movie and get inspired by that movie, and that'll help sometimes. You just have to do whatever is your thing. You have to do what you can do so that you can keep doing the thing that you love.
Today, we are going to go out there and we are going to win this thing.
When did you know that you wanted to be a director?
I knew I wanted to be a director when I saw many of the movies that I had written come out in theaters and not look anything like I remembered what I wrote. And I thought the only real way to, for good or bad, have it be what I mean is for me to be the director and let the buck stop here. You still have to collaborate with a lot of people, but your voice is much louder and virtually the loudest when you're the director.
Stop.
It's not going to be next year. It's too expensive, and we always lose.
I always knew I wanted to be a writer. My whole life, I didn't want to do anything else. I took a kind of left turn into acting for a while because no one would hire me as a writer, and people would hire me as an actor. So I did that for a while, but I was always the actor who had a script under his arm, saying to the director, here, we read this, and finally got paid off, and somebody let me write a movie that got sold, and then I was a screenwriter and I stopped acting. But really, that was how it happened.
We gotta shake 'em up.
Get your Beyonce out of my face.
I think it helps too wearing so many different hats in this industry because you know how it is from every single angle, behind and in front of the camera.
I think to have been an actor helps as a director because you have the same vocabulary that the actors do. You know how to talk to an actor, you know what the actors are going through. If they're stuck on something, you might be a little more helpful than the next person to help unstick them. You're probably a little more open to the happy accident and happy surprise and happy unexpected creative thing that the actor brought to a moment that you as the writer or the director hadn't thought of. I do think that can be helpful.
Well, I am who I am.
Maybe you were 5 procedures ago.
Would you say that you ever need to go back for more training to help you with your job, or you feel like you're always learning while you are in this industry?
I think you learn every day. You learn if you're open to it from everybody in your life. I certainly learn on the set every day. I have a fantastic producer, Michael Nathanson, teaches me every conversation that I have with him. The actors teach me every day that I'm working with them. You know, the training, as it were, never stops. It's just I was never personally, I'm not saying this for everybody, I was never a school guy. You know, I didn't finish college. Barely finished high school. It was not that kind of thing. Did not work for me. But I always found that coloring outside the lines worked a lot better for me.
He completely changed the way the choir sings. Who knows what he'll do next?
I love those old songs, but Randy's fine.
Are there any specific characteristics or beliefs that you think a teen should have if they really wanted to succeed in this industry?
I would say hard-headedness. I would say openness. I would say patience, and I would say have an adventurous spirit. Be excited about stuff that you don't understand. Be excited to learn the things that you haven't figured out yet, rather than to be impatient to learn them. Because you will filter them through your own sensibility, and they're going to come out as something that's uniquely yours.
I'm very, very proud to be your mother. I love you.
Don't go away, there's more direct.
One of the most important steps to becoming director is to attend film school or college and major in filmmaking.
Hi, I'm Joe Nussbaum. Welcome to Made in Hollywood.
You know, you could go. Ask somebody.
Oh, sure. Let me just pick a cheerleader from my speed dial.
What advice do you have for young aspiring directors?
My advice to directors is start directing as soon as you can.
Find people who are like-minded, you know, find friends who are photographers, who enjoy photography, or who are good, good artists, people who are good at recording sound, who want to get into music. Just put a group of people together who all want to work on one thing.
That's what I did. You know, I didn't go to film school and do anything like that. I just went out and made a movie with some friends. I think that's the fastest way to get there.
Direct
a one-act play at your school, direct a short film, grab a video camera and make a fake commercial, get behind the camera, get the experience of shooting something, bringing it into your computer, trying to edit it, see if it works, showing it to friends, get honest opinions if they like it or hate it, and figure out what you're doing right and wrong.
Graduation is for the parents, and prom is really just for us.
You can start saying, how can I make it better? You know, how can I elevate this to the next level, and like accept some kind of criticism and try to like just making like really stronger and more entertaining.
Just go shoot. Now it's cheap. Now you have, cameras that you can get, they're not very expensive. Just go shoot your own thing.
You can do it on your camera phone. I mean, there's so many ways. The technology is not the problem, so don't let that ever hold you back.
There are all the old school traditional ways in, which are, it's impossible, there's no way to do it, and yet people do it every day. And no two people have the same story about how they broke in. You just kind of have to go for it, and you'll find your way in.
I wrote Walt Disney Studios when I was 17 years old and said, how do you get a job there? They wrote back and sent me a brochure for a school called California Institute of the Arts in Valencia, California, that had been founded by Disney, and it basically was a very simple way, if you go through the proper channels and you find a way to do it, to go to this school, learn animation, and then get a job at Disney or one of the studios.
Education is key because I could write a book on the things that I didn't know and what it cost me, So had I had the education, had I studied it first, there are some things I would have had to learn on my own anyway, but education is the key. If you're going to do anything, learn everything you can about it. Be around it all the time.
Write. Learn how to write. Write a lot. It doesn't have to be long. You can write short ideas, write an idea every single day. About a different idea every day, like a log line, and then at the end of the month you'll have 30 of them. Pick one, make it into like a 3-page short, take another one, make it into a 10-page short, and eventually one of those will emerge as a feature idea or a short film idea.
It took research, it took patience, it took work, and it all ended up being worth it because really everything takes work, and I think that that's probably the thing that a lot of people don't always like to hear, but there's nothing worth having that you didn't work for.
Romeo!
Juliet, I just wanted to see you again.
I'm gonna need you to cover it. My dad asked. Just tell him I'm washing my hair.
Me directing this film, I'm living a dream come true that took years to happen. Years. It was not an overnight thing.
Take care! Tell your dad you're doing your hair!
I mean, for anyone making movies, it's always just like persistence. You just gotta keep doing it.
It's really about making sure that you really love it. Not saying you want to be a director because that's like sort of the top-notch job.
If you can only imagine yourself doing that thing, if you're that driven, if you're that passionate, it'll happen.
Because it is more than a hobby. It is your life. It becomes your life, and it's about hard work. It's about knowing all the movies, watch as many movies as you can. You learn just as much from a bad movie and a bad scene that you would from a good movie.
You're gonna do out here.
John Smith.
Okay. You don't want to tell me your name.
And it doesn't need to come naturally. You don't need to, you don't need to be brilliant. You don't need to. All you need to do is love it. So be patient. Be ready to work and research it. Learn about what you want to do, no matter what it is.
This mission is going to require maximum stealth.
Well, you won't get much stealthier than me.
Hello!
Don't go away, there's more.
Ever thought about a career as a director? Like the directors in today's show, directing takes passion, hard work, training, and persistence. Start with a good foundation by going to college for filmmaking. Study and develop your skills in the areas of screenwriting and photography. Get your foot in the door as an intern or production assistant on a movie, television set, or theater production. Develop your craft and get as much experience as possible. Make as many of your own projects as you can, such as short films, music videos, educational films, and commercials. For more information, search online and visit websites, including dga.org, actioncutprint.com, and filmmakers.com/director. Be sure to check with your parents, teachers, and school guidance counselors to discuss more career options.
I had a great time learning about directing a major motion picture. This is Kylie Erica Marr from Made in Hollywood, Teen Edition.